first video of the channel, this new channel here. Cool. So I want to talk about my Instagram art schedule. I was recommended, hey, you got a bit of a story here, you got a bit of a, plan, you got something here, so turn it into a video. And so I'm doing that. So I do a schedule every month for my art, right? And this is for my Instagram. Wow, I can't, there we go. This is for my Instagram. And the idea is that these blocks of three, represent a row, this way, represent a row on Instagram, right? And what I do is, well, I'll explain that in a second. The idea is that I sketch out, sort of I pencil in what my plans for art are going to be this month, and then I try to do that. Let me show you a previous month that's more filled out. I feel like October. No. Where was I the most faithful? Probably March. You'll see a fully filled out one. And I've been doing this since August, roughly, of last year. So let me show you that one. It all started with the challenge Smogist, right? Smogist is a August challenge for artists where you have these prompts and you draw based on these prompts. And so I had this in my square sketchbook, which is over there. I'm not going to pull it out. Let's see. The idea is that I wrote down on one side what the challenge was, and then on the other side what my plans for that challenge was. So, for instance, wow, the quality is pretty bad. It won't focus. So, for instance, Silky was a challenge for day 12, and I wrote down one of my OC universes, DX3, a sea dragon, because I thought, its skin is silky smooth, right? It ended up being one of my best artworks, but it didn't look like the prompt was silky. It was just kind of really cool, like this huge giant dragon over this ocean. It's the background to my tablet right now. I'm proud of that one. But yeah, so this is a page out of the back of my sketchbook, and I taped it to it so that I would go back there, open this flap up, and read it. Now I've taped it so that it's like it's one weird shaped page. But yeah, this was my first one. So it was just my plan. And then in October was my next one. And this is when I really started getting into my sort of system. You see, I have check marks for when I drew something, and I crossed out when I posted it. And I got over here the day of the week, and then the day of the month. Right, so October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, etc., and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc. That's so that I could kind of keep track of that. There wasn't a reason behind that. I just felt it was more organized, and I like doing things like that. So then I had November, right? And in November, I decided, I was at work, and I was writing this sort of on the side on the Google Doc. I decided it was going to do a lot of fan art for RWBY, because season 7 or 8 came out in November of 2019. So a lot of this is that, and a lot of it is also Hamilton. So the bottom list was of my original ideas, which isn't what ended up happening. But you see, I now have translated from October into this sort of printed format, the day of the week, day of the month, and, you know, my idea. Then, so here's December, here's January, and in February is when I decided to start breaking it up into the squares for my own sanity. And on top of that, I did this tiny little thing in the corner where I have this sort of mock Instagram feed, and I kind of mark out, okay, this is where I'm gonna have a selfie, and this is where the sermon art is gonna go, and selfie, and then a challenge, right? So I kind of broke it up like that. And then I started printing them out on the bottom, so that when I turn it to its side, there you go, sermon art, selfie, or you know, behind the scenes or whatever. And then they're broken up into days. April, I kind of trailed off because I was losing motivation. And now in June, I'm trying to attack it again. I cannot get this camera centered. But yeah, in June, I'm working on more Percy Jackson art, and so that's what's happening. So, why did I make this? I make this to help you guys, right? To help whoever happens to see this and how to sort of organize an Instagram feed. You can do it however you want, but I like to do it like this because it just sort of naturally evolved that way. The idea being, you know, you have a plan. You can sort of organize, and I'm going to show you my Instagram feed. You can sort of organize how you put up your feed, because as soon as somebody sees your feed, somebody like sees your art, they're like, oh, that's cool, I might want to follow them. So they go into your profile. The first thing they see is your bio. That's a really good first impression. And then your icons for your story, which they may or may not even look at, right? They might look at your stories, but seeing the icons is an important impression as well. And then your feed. So I'm going to go into October 1st. Come on. So this was kind of all over the place. And then I decided I was going to do Teen Titans and Joker stuff. And I'm like, okay, so now I have a plan. And the plan is there, but it was short-lived. And then I decided, let's do a whole spooky Spider-Man series. And the whole thrust of this was that the backgrounds were all black. And then I decided, oh, every day, so I put out 3 artworks a day. I do Draw This in Your Styles or Dress Your OCs, and then Spider-Man. And I did them in order, right? Because I was thinking in threes. You know, I have my black background Spider-Man, and then in the morning I do an orange Draw This in Your Style, and in the afternoon I do purple Draw This in Your Style, because this all fits, you know, the sort of how do you put it? It fits the Instagram aesthetic, first of all, the sort of purple or magenta really, but purple and orange aesthetic because of the icon. So I've always just liked that. And it fits the Halloween aesthetic, purple, orange, black. Then I decided, let's take black and gradient to orange from gradient black, magenta, orange, using Ruby during the orange stuff. And so you see my work in progresses. It's like work in progress, yeah, finished one, right? Do you see how it gradients? So this was when I was kind of at my peak, right? Organization. And then December hit, and I kind of fumbled for a little bit. And then I did Star Wars. very organized, you see? That leaves a good impression. And then I fumbled some more and just kind of kept fumbling until I did Star Wars again. Well, not Star Wars, but then I decided to do the black background system again. Fumbled. I did a commission, so that took up most of my feed. I did sketchbook stuff. That took it up for a while. Fumbled again. My motivation is just kind of all over the place because of COVID. And then bam, here we are. So now I'm trying to organize again. I don't know if I'm going to do color organization, but that sort of stuff leaves a good impression. It keeps your sort of sanity in line. Yeah, I recommend planning your art ahead, sort of having a system. This is my system. You can feel free to adopt it because it's kind of, you know, tried and true because it happened naturally. That's all I have to say. Like the video, subscribe to me. You can hit the bell notifications. I don't post super often because I don't have a system here on YouTube yet. So if you hit the bell notification, you'll be notified, and that really helps me because people who are subscribed, you know, are consistent and they come back. Yeah, that's all. I hit 11 minutes, so I guess that's good. Y'all have a great day.